What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another live stream. It's been a couple weeks or so, man. How's it going? Peter Gamer Max up in here, freaking ready to rock and roll. Hope everyone has had a good week so far. We typically do our live streams on Tuesdays, but we got in, man, 1 a.m. ish Tuesday morning from Texas. Didn't go to bed till about later, and then just have been trying to catch up on everything at the house. We were in Texas for about a week or so, dropped the 4Runner off at XPEL Dallas, and then I was able to get into a third gen Tundra 2025 finally. So that review for you guys will be going live tomorrow, and very interesting indeed. So that was pretty cool that Toyota has a drive shop in the Dallas area. So I was able to get into one of those for the week. Hung out on the farm. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, it's just trd.john over there. And yeah, it was a great time, man. Super good time with Bree's family at the farm, but very excited to be back. So Mr. Sunjeeb's up in here. Peter Gaming, Blance, how's it going? Make sure you guys smash that like button. Kryptonite as well up in here too. Blue STI, Juan, what is up, man? How's it going, everyone? Yeah, back to the live stream. So if you guys are new to the live streams, basically we just go ahead and throw questions up here on the screen like this. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Blance says, if that's how you pronounce the name. And same thing like this. So we just basically do these live streams. It's a Q&A. You guys can ask any questions you want, whether it be Toyota related, life related, whatever you guys want. Just go ahead and throw them into the comments. But Mr. Sanjeev says if he's still in here, because this was quite a while ago before the live stream was even live. The fact that you guys comment before live streams are even live is absolutely awesome. But he says, hey, John, are there any plans for a plug-in hybrid version of the 4Runner, Highlander, or any sort of wife car? I would say get a Model Y for your wife. Like what trim are you getting on your Tundra? That was hard to read. So actually, not going to lie, I looked at Teslas the other day just because I saw a video of how cheap you could get some Teslas. And if you don't like upgrade them with like the autopilot and all this other stuff, you could actually get into a Tesla for like $300 a month, which I think that would be very cheap and effective. But my only thing with those would just be like range anxiety. But if you just drive it around town and stuff and you just plug it in your garage, that would be pretty good. But as for 4Runner or a Highlander or even Tundras in the future too, I am very confident that we will see a plug-in hybrid Tundra probably during the refresh. I don't think that they would bring out one right away, but that may be like one of the new things with the refresh that we may see in a year or two. And then eventually, I feel like everything in Toyota's lineup will have some sort of this freaking 4Runner air dam was in my way. I feel like everything in Toyota's lineup moving forward will have some sort of plug-in hybrid version, and I'm very excited to see if there would be one on the Tundra. Hey John, do you know if the 4Runner is going to get hit with tariffs? Mine's on the boat due 4.9 to 4.59. So I asked the Toyota contact about this. Toyota's not saying anything yet, but being in the military, and I knew this question was going to come up, being from a military background, I have to wait for things to happen. Like the whole internet right now, especially the car community and the fear-mongering YouTubers, they're going all about this whole tariff thing, like right away. But everything that Trump has done with tariffs in the beginning has all been negotiation tactics. So these things won't even hit for like another week if they actually do. But they're just a big negotiation tactic, a big threat, basically for these other countries that have been importing our cars or us importing their cars and us paying like a tariff on certain vehicles and stuff. So I am curious. I don't think that if, let's say, the 4Runner did get a 25% tariff, I don't think that Toyota would raise the price by 25%. If they did, you're essentially eliminating the customer. I don't see that actually happening because now an SR5 4Runner is 50 grand. And once prices go up, they're not going to come back down. And if they do come back down, that just absolutely kills the resale value on a lot of vehicles. So we will see what happens with that. It's not that I don't care. I do care about this stuff, but we just have to wait for it to happen. We just have to wait to see what actually happens with it. Toyota sells over 50% of their vehicles that are actually made in America. So maybe there will be some sort of ratio of vehicles that are built in America or North America in general versus vehicles that we get from overseas. So we will see how Toyota goes about that. But I don't see the price of the 4Runner raising by 25%. That may just be a cost that Toyota has to take, or Japan works out some sort of negotiations with the United States as well for different tariffs to lower it on cars. That's essentially what all this is. If you guys have ever read The Art of the Deal, or whether you like Trump or not or anything, he is an incredible businessman. Oh, he had things that he filed for bankruptcy, whatever. But like, he's a businessman and he's trying to make deals. So we will see what happens with these tariffs down the road, honestly, because like I said, most of them have just been like threats to make deals happen, like with Mexico, like with Canada, all that stuff. So we will see exactly what comes of it. But Blue STI, what is up, man? Peter Gaming, Juan's in here, David as well. Aviation Truth, what is up, man? How's it going? Packaged Biscuit, how's it going as well? What is up, everyone? Welcome to the live stream. No one wants a Tesla right now. Plenty of people want Teslas. Their stock actually jumped up a lot today as well. Maybe it's because they're fully made in America, like a majority of their vehicles are. We'll see. I wouldn't mind a Tesla just as like a mileage vehicle just for around town. And I actually sat in one at the New York Auto Show, and it was pretty good. People give Tesla crap a lot for like their early vehicles, but when I sat in the Cybertruck, and also when I sat, and I think it was a Model 3 or maybe it was a Model S as well, the quality felt better than a modern Toyota, honestly. So I don't know, maybe Tesla is getting better at certain things. David said, not an incredible businessman. He filed for bankruptcy many times, only made profit off of government subsidies. I don't know. He still has a lot of money. So, and honestly, it is smart sometimes to file for bankruptcy as well, just to clear some stuff off. And if you have other money, it's a good move sometimes for business people. But yeah, people have their opinions. I think he's good at business for certain things. He's great at negotiating and stuff. So we'll see what happens with it, man. And this is awesome. You know, we should be able to talk about things. It's not like the world that it was 8 years ago, where if you side with one person or you can't talk about things, like we should all be able to talk. You know, if me and David have differences about certain things, we should be able to talk about it, right? He could comment whatever he wants. I don't block people's comments on YouTube. Sometimes YouTube blocks comments. And unless someone's just being an absolute dick, I'm like, I don't even want you on my channel. But I let comments ride out on the channel as much as I can. Like I said, YouTube may block some stuff, but I try to unblock it if it's just people talking with each other. Blant says that I'm so torn on getting an old Gen 4Runner. We're taking a chance on the 6th Gen. John, what do you think? Just wonder how long they will last on the current platform. Yeah, time will tell, honestly. Like, it's super, super hard to, think 5 years from now on what the 4Runner is going to be. It may be a pile of crap, or it may be really good. I don't know. Right now, I'm enjoying how well the vehicle drives. I enjoy the technology in it. I enjoy the powertrain. I enjoy the seats. I enjoy the tech. So I enjoy it personally. But all the older 4Runners, they've all proved themselves. So, I mean, if you want to save $30,000 or something like that and get an older 4Runner, then definitely go for it. I mean, it is it's not a bad decision to get an old one because they are tried and true. Eric says, do you know if 33s on 18-inch rims would rub? I think my order has all black TRD Pro wheels, and I want to put some more aggressive tires on them. So if it has TRD Pro wheels, and if you're talking about a Tacoma or a 4Runner, then it should already come close to 33-inch tires on it. So 33s fit these new vehicles very easily. If you're Eric, talking about new modern Toyotas, then 33s should fit on it pretty easily. Packaged Biscuit says, do you know about how long the PPF on your 4Runner will last? I want to say it's like 10 plus years, especially if you maintenance it well, taking care of the ceramic coat. The ceramic coat alone on it is good for 4 years. So I feel like the PPF is well longer than that. Obviously, you know, if I left it out in the sun in Arizona or here in Florida for an extended period of time, I didn't wash the vehicle, you know, scratching it up on rocks and stuff, that's gonna be detrimental to the lifespan of the PPF film. But if you maintenance it, which you would want to do because of how expensive it is, I would say that it would last over 10 years on that vehicle. I have confidence in that. And that is something that I should have asked. And it may be on XPEL's website. And it also depends on the thickness of film that you do too. Juan says that I'm around 7,000 miles on my Tacoma. Did you wait to do your first oil change at 10K? I did wait to do it at 10K. People gave me shit in the comment section that I waited till 10K. I just went based off of Toyota's recommendations on the owner's manual based on how I drove the truck. Looking back, I probably should have done it at 5,000 miles just because of a lot of the dirt that I was driving in with the vehicle, a lot of highway miles and stuff on it. But the truck was perfectly fine. This 4Runner here, I'm probably going to do the oil at 5K and maybe send it off for you guys to see how it is. David says, real world MPGs. On the Land Cruiser right now, we're sitting at about 19 miles per gallon. On the 4Runner, we just towed the trailer to and from Texas. We're sitting at about 17.5 on the 4Runner right now. I'm sure that will go up. On the Tacoma, we're sitting at about 19. The Tundra, 15. That thing is a gas guzzling hog. And the 5th gen 4Runner, the OG, is sitting at about 17 miles per gallon. A lot of city driving where we live. We can't go much over 65 miles an hour. My guy, Eric says, my guy, I am buying from said that my delivery estimated 420 to 59 will be tariff protected. Take that for what you will. Yeah, I've heard a lot of different things about it from, dealerships saying everything will go up 25%. There's been articles out there that said at max it will be just $2,000 on certain vehicles. It's also dependent on countries too. So again, like with this tariff thing, it's hard. Like there's so many unknown things. Again, it's still negotiation tactics as well. So we'll see where the tariffs actually land come, what is it, April 2nd or April 3rd? Yeah, man, we'll see. How late over 5,000 miles should you really go if the car requires an oil change? I wouldn't go much further than if the vehicle requires an oil change because that's an expensive part. I would just take it to a quick little Jiffy Lube or do it yourself in your garage or something. And it's very inexpensive to do oil when compared to replacing a whole engine. So oil changes, are anywhere from $100 to $200. I would just do it if you can. Yeah. Let's just wait to see what happens with the tariffs for sure. I mean, we never know. We never know what will happen or what will come after that. But I do know that a lot of people want a lot of vehicles made in the United States, a lot of products made in the United States. If COVID was any indicator of how much crap we outsource to other countries, and when your supply chain gets bottled up like that, I mean, people were freaking out. People were absolutely freaking out. It was just insane to go to the grocery store. It was insane to go to Sam's Club to even try to get toilet paper. How much do people crap? I mean, my God, it was so crazy during that time. And that itself should have been a wake up call to a lot of people of how much, we outsource. I think it's absolutely stupid to have everything made in America. But it would be nice, if we were just a massive world powerhouse for all that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. We will see how everything goes. Would you agree that Toyota's quality and reputation is going down? I think that is across the board for all cars. And it's a pathetic excuse from these automakers to charge higher prices for a lesser quality product. And us as the consumers just need to speak up more and maybe not buy the products, maybe buy the old ones. And then companies will start to step up their game like Ram has. Ram has probably the best truck on the market, honestly. GM does have some nice trucks too, but Ram, I sat in the TRX at the auto show, and that was by far the best interior of any trucks. And that is why they have been selling a crap ton of Rams. And then Ram is all like, oh, we have to get rid of the V8. Let's go to the 6-cylinder. And then that kind of deterred people away from it, right? So I think that the whole automotive industry as a whole is very crappy right now for quality. And they're using, again, COVID as an excuse of materials and also just excuses, man. And it's pathetic. I think that companies just need to start making very good cars again. So if you guys are new to the live stream, welcome on in. Make sure you guys hit that like button. I appreciate it. All we do is just some Q&As. I usually get 10 to 15 minutes behind. We are 10 minutes behind right now on the questions. If you guys do want to donate to support the channel, you can, and you will bump straight up to the top to get your questions answered. But yeah, but we are about 10 minutes behind right now. But I try to answer every single one of your guys' questions here on the live stream. John, can't make my mind up between Tacoma and 4Runner off-road. Throw your honest review out here. So for me, I would pick 4Runner versus those two. It's a smoother driving experience. It feels a lot better, and it's also made in Japan. But the Tacoma, if like you need a truck, I'd 100% go with a Tacoma all day. I just prefer a full-size truck for actual truck stuff rather than doing a smaller truck. Dave, how do I become a member? So if you're watching on YouTube, there should be just a little membership subscribe button. And basically all I do on my channel is I have different tiers. I have SR5, TRD off-road tier, I think limited tier, and then TRD Pro. I may change the limited tier to Trail Hunter now that there's that model, and I just like to have them over 4Runners and stuff. But it starts at $1. So that is how you could support the channel. Starts at $1, and I believe it goes up to $10 a month. YouTube is a beautiful free platform. You guys do not have to donate. All that I ask is that you guys just comment on videos and like videos. That really helps out for the algorithm. But if you guys do want to support more, you can become a member. It's only $1 a month. And then there's multiple tiers that go up. I am going to start pushing memberships just a little bit more on the membership side, because I do want to do quarterly giveaways over there. No, there's not. Stellantis is almost bankrupt. Yeah. So they are almost bankrupt. They went through some different changes and everything with CEOs as well, which definitely didn't help. But I hope that they're trying to make a comeback. If it don't come from Japan, it's junk. I don't know. There's some good American-made cars out there. The cars that come from Canada too, like the Lexus products, are actually made pretty well. But you know, there's some issues with new cars too from Japan. Like my Land Cruiser was made in Japan and it rattles like crazy. Other people have had Land Cruisers that rattle like crazy too, especially first editions, which they're the most expensive ones. I don't understand why they rattle so much. But I mean, definitely older Japanese vehicles are where it is at for sure, should I get into heavily discounted third-gen Tundra or find a low-mileage second-gen? If it was me, I would go with third-gen, personally. It just drives better, more tech inside. I like the third-gen Tundra more than the second-gen. Even though I had issues with two of my third-gen Tundras, I still liked driving them more than I like my current truck. So this Tundra, we're still waiting on the freaking supercharger for the second gen. Magnuson told Yota Mafia, hopefully April. It was supposed to be here in March, and now they're saying hopefully mid-April, in a couple weeks, we'll have that supercharger, and then we'll put it on the Tundra, and hopefully we can put bigger brakes and everything on it and kind of like rejuvenate that second gen Tundra content on my channel. Matt says, John, one thing that stands out to me more on the 6th gen that no one else has discussed is putting the black window stitch up near the sunroof switch. Oh, the back window switch. Do you like it there? I love it where it is on my 5th gen. So that's the same spot where it is on the Tundra and Tacoma. They just use literally that same part, and that's how the back window of the Tundra goes down and how the side window of the Tacoma opens. But weirdly, even though I've had two third-gen Tundras and also the Tacoma, when I'm in the 4Runner, even though it's like the same interior as the Tacoma, I still go to push the button on the center console to roll the back window down instead of pressing up there. I don't know why. So muscle memory in my head, it's still where the 5th gen is at. I kind of like where the 5th gen is at, but it does make sense if it's a back window to touch up because it's towards the back. I don't know. But I am used to where it is on the 5th gen 4Runner. Billy says, hey John, have you heard anything about allocations and deliveries in Canada? I got a deposit down on a TRD ORP. Was originally told February and March, now told April, May. Hard to get a solid answer. I have no idea. I did also see some TRD Pros as well for that just got to some Canadian ports. So maybe the ports in Canada are starting to get spruced up with a whole bunch of vehicles, and hopefully they'll start making their way out there for you Canadians. Chris says, John, finally picked up my GX550 Overtrail Incognito with a black roof. Ooh, that looks good. I didn't know they did Incognito with, oh no, they do Incognito with a black roof. That looks really good. Only took 15 months, beat the tariffs. I also sold my 2019 TRD 4Runner with 3 people lined up to buy it. That's crazy, especially if it was the Voodoo blue color. Very, very rare. Should I, I already answered that one. One of the best SUVs on the market for sure. Toyota needs a Maverick competitor. They really do. Toyota is sleeping on not having a Ford Maverick, Honda Ridgeline, Hyundai Santa Cruz competitor for sure. 2015 4Runner, 168,000 miles. I'm running it into the ground. New Toyotas are ass. Yeah, the new Toyotas are great to drive. I like driving the new 4Runner better than the 5th gen 4Runner, but we'll see, man. We'll see how well these new ones stack up. It's got very, very big shoes to fill. New Tundras are horrible looking to what they were. I don't know, like stock for stock, no Tundra, even like the 1st gen Tundra, no stock Tundras really looked that good from the factory. Maybe the TRD Pro looked the best, but like none of them look good unless they're lifted up and put bigger tires on it. Like the 2nd gen Tundra just looks like a big old bubble, honestly. But when you put bigger tires on it, you know, some bumpers or something like that, it looks a lot better for sure. But yeah, I personally feel like no stock Tundra looks that good, regardless of generation. Patrick says, what are your opinions on the 1st gen Taco? It was my personal favorite. But that's probably because that's the only one I've ever driven. The 1st gen Tacos are pretty nice. I would love to have a pre-runner one day, single cab, so not the extended cab. I think that would be a really cool truck. Recommendations on a lift that will clear 285 7017s with a -12 offset. Depends on the vehicle, Alex. Oh, you said it right here. 2018 Tacoma. I would just do a simple like 2-inch lift. Maybe a 3-inch. You don't need more than that really to clear 285s on those trucks. You may have to do just a smidge of trimming because of the -12 offset, but having a decent lift on the vehicle, that will definitely help. Fluids are cheap. Definitely change your transmission and engine for sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I would definitely go by the manual, but if you're towing a lot with your vehicle, you're off-roading out in the desert, a lot of dirt and stuff, I would definitely change them early. They are very inexpensive, especially when compared to an engine. Roman says, hey John, I wanted to know if you bought the Diecast Talk Front Runner Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro Overland in Cavalry Blue. These are sick little masterpieces. Check it out. I got the GX model. I have not been on Diecast Talk in a little bit, but I did get that Land Cruiser one from the Dubai kind of featured one where the dudes are on the side with it. And I've picked up a couple more from them, but I definitely want to check out the Cav Blue 4Runner. Hopefully they still have some available. We were driving when they launched it, so I think I may have missed the launch, but I definitely need to check it out and see if they still have one, because I would love to get one of their products of a 5th gen 4Runner. I have the Hot Wheels Cavalry Blue, I have a 40th anniversary 4Runner, and then I have a Matchbox Voodoo Blue 4Runner as well. I love the older Toyotas, especially Tundras, especially the stick ones. Yeah, first gen Tundra, you could actually get it with a stick shift, which was pretty cool. On XPEL's site, they claim long-lasting protection film offers superior impact with 10-year warranty. Nice, so cool. So we have a 10-year warranty, so hopefully it lasts longer than 10 years then. If the warranty is only 10 years, hopefully it lasts a bit longer. But that's rad that we have a warranty for 10 years. That's stuff that I should have said in the video. I should have researched that a little bit more for you guys. Sorry about that. But yeah, cool. 10-year warranty. Best roof rack suggestions for 5th gen 4Runner, leaning towards Westcott Low Pro. Do it. I love the Westcott Low Pro on my 5th gen 4Runner. It's super streamlined to the top of the 4Runner too. Not a big gap. Very, very low profile and super rigid and strong as well. You cannot go wrong with Westcott. Peter says, how do you feel about the 2.4 liter 4-banger in the new Toyota vehicles? For example, the 4Runner, they chose a smaller displacement turbo engine. It's common sense. The smaller engine is being stressed. So I've never understood that portion of the engine being stressed, just because like it's at a lower RPM. So for me in my brain, when I hear of it being stressed, is like it's always having to rev out just to like get the vehicle going. But when you pair it with the new 8-speed transmission, the RPMs that vehicle averages at is way lower than that of my 5th gen 4Runner with the V6, or even my Tacoma too with that 3.5 liter. So that engine, that 2.4, has been around for several years now, and it's really had no issues. They've redid it for truck platforms and stuff to make it a bit more heavy duty. So time will tell. I like the engine. I like the way it drives. It's very torquey. It's very powerful for what it is. You're not going to race with the 4Runner, right? But time will tell. Time will tell how good it actually is. Still got a Camry 2000 XLE with the V6 maybe. Jut says 2000 with 120K on it. Drives great. Sam says, hey John, what's up? What do you enjoy more, Land Cruiser or the 4Runner? I enjoy the 4Runner a little bit more. The Land Cruiser is nice when you get inside, just with how tall the roof line is. It feels a little bit more spacious, but I enjoy driving actually the 4Runner a little bit more. We are actually going to get the 4Runner tuned in a couple weeks, so going to get a little bit more power out of the 4Runner, horsepower and torque out of it, change some shifting points and stuff right there with the OTT tune, so maybe it will be even better to drive than the hybrid system. We'll see, because the hybrids are a little bit heavier, so I am curious to see how the tune does for the 4Runner. What's the biggest tire size you could put on a 24 off-road premium without rub? That all depends on wheels too. So I would go over to Tinker's Adventure, his YouTube channel. He put 37s on a Tundra, completely stock, just because of offset and everything. So I've kind of stopped answering the tire questions, just because I don't want to say a tire size, but then someone puts like a -12 offset wheel on their vehicle and they're like, oh John, you lied. So it all depends on the wheel and tire that you're going to run on the vehicle too. So I don't really answer those questions anymore. Plus too, for some reason, all tire manufacturers, even though they say they're like a 33-inch tire, they may be a little bit different, a little bit bigger, a little bit wider than other ones, just depending on the tread too. But I mean, if it's a TRD off-road Tacoma though, you could easily fit somewhat of 33s on that thing without doing trimming or anything like that, especially on the stock tire. Have you asked the engineer why payload capacity on the 6th gen 4Runner is so much less than the 5th gen? Doesn't make sense to me. My 6th gen 4Runner actually has more payload capacity than my 5th gen one does. So I haven't asked that yet. And my 5th gen has less payload capacity than that of my 6th gen. I showed that in the comparison video that I did of both of them, and I think the 6th gen had maybe 70 or 80 more pounds of payload, and you can also tow 1,000 pounds more with the new 6th gen 4Runner. 24 off-road premium 4Runner, maybe 31s then to 32s. You can't really fit that big of a tire under a new 4Runner. Jay, what's up? How's it going, man? Just your average dad is in here. Full send off-road in orange. Abe, how's it going? Maurice is in here too. Camilo, how's it going? I'll get to your guys' questions in a second, man. We are about 8 minutes behind on questions right now. Not too far behind, which is nice. Jet says, I met a Coast Guard guy who had a diesel, looked like a 4Runner, forgot the name, steering wheel on the right-hand side, brought it back from Panama. It was beautiful. So those are going to be called the Surfs. So the Hilux Surf is what the 4Runner was called overseas. Right-hand drive. They had a diesel engine option, which was just super, super cool. I think that would be an awesome vehicle to add to the 4Runner collection when it's time. When I get a 3rd gen, I would love to have a Hilux Surf diesel right-hand drive. I think that would be really sweet. Jay says, when you had XPEL and ceramic coating done, did your fender flare gap get addressed? The dealer said they will fix mine, but waiting on direction from Toyota. So they actually, for the 4Runner, I asked them, I said, are you guys going to take any door handles off, fenders, anything? They said no. So they ran everything right up to the line so freaking perfectly that you can't even tell. Like, you can't even tell that they did or did not take off the fenders. So my fenders are still OEM. The fender line sucks on the front end of the 4Runner. It seems like everyone's that has been asking those questions, that their fender lines are just as bad. It has like this little bowing portion in the middle of it. Not sure why. Need more likes for John. If you guys can hit the like button, I truly, truly appreciate it. Your average dad says, new to your channel and the Toyota family. Got a 2017 Tundra SR5 and I'm in love. Keep doing it, man. Love the channel. Heck yeah, man. I enjoy my 2nd gen Tundra too. That V8 is awesome. I cannot wait to wake that vehicle up with a freaking supercharger. I think that it's just going to be night and day difference on that truck. Full Send says, hey man, it's been a while. Full Send tuning in here. Still on the hunt for FJs. Found an Army Green 2014, 320,000 miles. Seller wants 9,500. That's wild. That's still a decent price. That's probably average for what they should be. But man, 2014 with 320,000 miles. That's a lot of highway miles at least. So that should be good. If the whole vehicle is minty and it drives well, I would say that's a steal for maybe 8,500. Always try to negotiate if you can. And Orange says, realistic price, ceramic tint on everything but the windshield on a 6th gen. It depends on your location, honestly. But I would say anywhere, and it depends on the quality of film too, but I would say anywhere from $500 to $750 to get the whole vehicle ceramic filmed, minus the windshield. Abe says, hey, John, I'm trying to get Westcott Designs roof rack for my off-road premium, but I have a moonroof. How do I just get half of the rack and not the full that goes to the windshield on your Land Cruiser? So that you would have to buy from Toyota. Westcott Designs does not do a half rack. They only do a full roof rack, but it will cover or it will clear the moonroof. So like if you open the moonroof, it will still clear with the Westcott Designs roof rack. Marie says, what does the dealer mean when they say that the Tundra is in transit, but it's in the dark zone and we can't tell where it is exactly? It was originally supposed to arrive February 22nd, but now they said March 30th. So I don't know what the dark zone is. For me, that may be it's leaving the manufacturing facility in transit to the distribution center of whatever region of Toyota you are in. So that may be the dark zone, and it may not have just arrived yet at the distribution center. Camilo says, MagnaFlow on a 5th gen 4Runner, yes or no? Any real performance gains? Droning is not good. So MagnaFlow has some anti-drone technology that actually works pretty good. On the 4th gen Tacoma that I had, that was really my only experience with MagnaFlow. So, excuse me, I would just look at a bunch of review videos if you can, and maybe put some comments in people that have had it to see if there's any real sort of drone. But MagnaFlow is great. I really enjoyed it on my Tacoma that I just sold. It was good. Very high quality packaging, high quality exhaust too. And the anti-drone technology that they had with the Overland series one that I got was actually pretty good. So there was no drone on that 4-cylinder, but it is a truck, so the 4Runner itself may be different. Like I have the TRD exhaust on my 4Runner, and it just drones a little bit. Steven says that TRD John is knowledgeable on Toyota, but he knows that the 4-banger is a rat's nest and lacks the old school vibe. Bring back the V6. Yeah, it doesn't look pretty when you pop the hood, that is for sure. But it drives great, so we will see. It has big shoes to fill because that 4-liter V6 was just so bulletproof. It was such a good engine, and it still is. And Toyota still uses it overseas in the Land Cruiser 300 series, which is wild. Very, very cool that they do that. 2.4 has been around, but in the Highlander and the NXs, not in high-stress vehicles like trucks that tow and haul. Toyota says they beefed up the engine with industrial components, but only time will tell, and that is very true. Time will tell. I believe in the interview that I did with an engineer on the powertrain, he said that 54 to 56% is the same as that of the Highlander, the NXs, the RXs, like all the other cars that use the same engine. So the other percent is beefed up parts and components for the truck aspect, just like the Tundra. The Tundra, which, you know, that engine isn't out to a good start, and Toyota claims that it's because of debris issues, so we just got to trust that that's the reasoning of it. That was from a Lexus car as well, but then they beefed it up for truck applications. So we will see, man. Time will tell. Hopefully in 10 years, they're just as reliable and they're not pieces of crap. So we will see. What rim offset do you have on the Land Cruiser? And if you could change the size, what offset would you go to? I have plus 25 offset on this Land Cruiser. If I was to change it again, I may go to like a plus 35. But plus 25 seems to be pretty good on the LC. Do you feel that the Land Cruiser is stronger than the 4Runner? In terms of powertrain, the Land Cruiser is kind of nerfed, especially when you get a hybrid 4Runner. The hybrid powertrain of that is a lot better. So I'm not sure. I don't feel like the Land Cruiser is built as strong as the 4Runner, honestly. It feels more luxurious, which is nice. Better materials on the inside, but I definitely think that the 4Runner may last a little longer. I don't know. I'm not overly impressed with this Land Cruiser. It's been good. I'm not like overly impressed with it. It's been great. It is probably going to be for sale here in a month or two. But I just really like the 4Runner. Way less wind noise inside of it. The materials, while they're not as good as the Land Cruiser, it does feel like a solid vehicle. So it'll only get better over time, which is great. We are about only 7 minutes behind right now, guys. So I will be getting to your questions. John, Paul, I see your guys' questions. I will get to them in a second. Peter Gamer says, what 4Runner engine would you say is the most reliable? We own a 97 SR5 with the 3-liter. I personally think that is. I think the 3.4-liter and the 4.0 are probably the two best engines. Or if you go back in time to the first gen with the 22RE, that was one of Toyota's best 4-cylinder engines they've ever made. So I think a lot of them have been good. Probably the only one that's been the turd of the generations is the 3.0 liter out of the second gen, and also the first gen I think had the 3.0. It was just a very gutless engine, and it blew head gaskets and stuff. So that one I would think would probably be the least reliable, not including the new 2.4, just because it has to prove itself. Like, there's been no real engine issues that I've heard of in the Land Cruiser or the Tacoma yet, so I don't know. We will see. Tom says, I picked up a blue TRD off-road premium last week. Have you figured out the wind noise issue if you take off the lower valence off? I have not. So I did tape under the lower control arms, because people with the Tacomas, they've had those issues too, and they plugged up those holes and it worked. So I taped under those before we drove to Texas, and I still had the same humming noise. So I'm going to try putting back on the little wind fairing down at the bottom to see if it goes away. That way we eliminate the tires and the wheels that I put on it as well, because I don't think that it would be those. So yeah, we'll see. I'm still troubleshooting the 4Runner right now with all that stuff for you guys, but it doesn't seem like a lot of people have that issue. So maybe it's just because I have running boards on the side of mine too. I'm not 100% sure. Amar says, John, do you feel like the Land Cruiser is more of a 4Runner successor than the 6th gen is? Now that the 6th gen is identical to the Taco, the LC250 reminds or feels and drives more like what I expected from a 6th gen. To be honest, I feel like the GX 550 is like a more of a successor than the Land Cruiser is. But yeah, Toyota just went like back to their roots with the 4Runner and the Tacoma being close to each other, like the 1st gen was in the Toyota pickup, the 2nd gen was in the Toyota pickup, the 3rd gen 4Runner and the 1st gen Tacoma. The 4th gen and the 2nd gen Tacoma are kind of like where they started to split apart a little bit. And then the 5th gen and 3rd gen, they really split apart, and now they've kind of come back together. So the 6th gen 4Runner reminds me a lot of the 5th gen in certain ways. But I do feel like Land Cruiser and GX just have a little bit more of that premium 5th gen feel than that of the 6th gen. Just on like the base models. But like if you get into a limited or a platinum or the TRD Pro and the Trail Hunter, those really feel like a 4Runner. It's just all the plastic of the other ones, just it's kind of a little frustrating. Dejav says, John, I'm getting ready to order the same 6th gen as yours, but black on black, and I worry about the 25% tariff markup coming next month. What's your opinion? So we touched on this a little bit at the beginning of the live stream. My opinion on the tariffs is I'm not going to make a fuss of it until it actually happens. A lot of these tariffs have been negotiation tactics, threats and stuff to get other deals done. So we'll see how it actually affects the automotive industry. Maybe it will be a percentage of cars have to be made here. Maybe certain vehicles will be exempt. Maybe certain companies, certain countries will be exempt as well. So it's all a negotiation threat right now. That's probably why the president gave companies about a week and a half or countries a week and a half to figure stuff out, so they could just negotiate really. So I'm not worried too much about it until it actually happens. So that's my opinion on it. Hopefully they don't raise prices by 25%. And if Toyota does raise prices by 25%, stuff won't sell. People just don't have that amount of money right now to raise the price of these new vehicles by another, $8,000 plus. So that would just be absolutely crazy if all these countries say, hey, whatever, if you guys want these cars, we're just going to charge up the prices. Or the companies also take the hit a little bit in their profits, which will suck. No company wants to lose money, right? But maybe they take the hit in their profits, or they work out some negotiation terms to build more plants here in the United States. But yeah, tariffs are a very, very good negotiation tactic, but also a very long-term play. So that's my honest opinion on that. We'll see honestly what happens though come, I think it's the 2nd or the 3rd. I tried to research a little bit for you guys before this live stream, and also talk to a Toyota contact that I have just to get their opinions, and Toyota hasn't said anything about it yet, at least maybe that they want to share publicly yet. So that could mean that they're in negotiation tactics right now with the president as well. Because during Trump's first term, he was going to slap tariffs on or price increases on like Apple. And then Tim Cook actually met with the president. He agreed to build a factory in Texas, and then Trump waived those additional costs on Apple products being made in China just because they agreed to build a bigger facility in Texas. So again, it's negotiation stuff, but we'll see what ultimately happens, right? Inflation, everything has really hit a lot of people, and if they want a brand new car and now this car is $8,000 to $10,000 more, they're not going to buy it. I only buy these vehicles because of YouTube, and my wife I don't know if she's listening to the live stream, but she just told me that the way I thought we were going to buy a house in Arizona probably won't happen because we would have to change our residency from Florida to Arizona. We would have to change all the stuff that we have here to Arizona just to make a VA loan happen. And I'm not going to do that because just state income tax alone wouldn't make sense to change residency to Arizona versus what I have in Florida, because Florida is a no state income tax state. So it all depends. But yeah, so I'll be selling some vehicles soon because now I have to clear up some debt for some certain things and get some money in my pocket because we have to probably put a bigger down payment down. But yeah, I mean, that's me that does YouTube, right? That's not just the average consumer that just wants to buy a new vehicle, or some unfortunately have to buy either a new or used vehicle. Maurice says, got a ceramic quote on my Tundra in Winnipeg for $1,300. If you're talking about paint, that's pretty average of what it should be. My Tacoma job that I did for my area was about $1,100. So that makes some sense as to what it is. That's actually a pretty good price for such a big vehicle. Eddie says, will the low profile exhaust tip Yota Mafia put on that Tacoma when you were there work on the new 4Runner? I'm not 100% sure, Eddie. I know that Sixth Element is working on an exhaust tip for the 4Runner. I'm not sure if the flanges are the exact same or if you would want it to dump out right there on the 4Runner. I think they may be working on one that goes a little bit further back, but I will keep you guys updated on 4Runner content for low profile exhaust tips and all that from Sixth Element. Jim says, which vehicle is quieter ride, Sequoia or 6th Gen 4Runner? 6th Gen 4Runner is a quieter ride. Sequoia, actually, they're both pretty good. The Sequoia has the acoustic glass, which is nice, but I think that the 4Runner is probably a quieter ride in stock form. Paul says, John, why are people so worried about the new engines? This is a Toyota, and they wouldn't invest all that money to fail. I have full confidence. I do too, and it seems like the internet now, because it's gotten so big over the last 15 years, forgets that like when the first gen Tundras had issues, the 4-liter in the 4th gen 4Runner when it first came out had a plethora of issues. The 2nd gen Tundra with the 5.7 had issues. So I mean, everything has issues, and towards the tail end of the life cycle of those vehicles, Toyota's made them reliable. So if they just completely disregard their reliability, then why would you buy a Toyota product versus like a GM or a Ford product that, you know, you get a little bit more for your money, I feel like, in those vehicles than you do a Toyota product. So I have confidence in it, and that's not John the fanboy talking about Toyotas because my channel is all about Toyotas. But if you look at other brands too, I mean, Chevy still has lifter issues with those Ecotec engines because of the active fuel management, and they haven't fixed them in like 10 plus years. So Toyota will hopefully fix issues that they have in these products, or make it right like they are with the Tundras. People have been out of warranty with these Tundra engines basically grenading, and since it's a known issue, Toyota is still replacing those engines, which is very, very cool. John says, with the TRD Pro 4Runner having the TRD intake and exhaust, is there any performance gains even though Toyota states that the same horsepower and torque values? I feel like there is some, but they just really didn't dyno it. I feel like if you dyno a TRD Pro 4Runner versus a hybrid TRD off-road, I would want to say that there's a little bit extra on the Pro and the Trail Hunter just because of their exhaust systems that they have, and also the intakes, because they're more of a high flow intake. So I think that if you were to put them on the dyno, they'd probably be more. It would be cool for Toyota to showcase online that the 4Runner TRD Pro and the Trail Hunter get like, 5 to 10 more horsepower and torque out of it, because like with 6 Element, when they bench tune or bench dyno their intakes with the increased airflow, same with AFE, they give you the actual horsepower and torque numbers. So I would assume that it would, or else like, why would you pay extra for that stuff if there's really no difference? John, would you be interested in doing discussion / debate with the car guy online to go over subjects like Toyota quality, reliability, price, etc. I would. I've been on a couple people's live streams in the past, and I wouldn't mind doing it again. I was also just on a podcast with Cali Raised. They're going to be starting up a podcast. I enjoy talking to people. I think that it's a cool way for people to see different sides of each other and discuss, just like how we talked about the tariffs, how I said I thought Trump was a good business person and stuff, and someone in the comments, I think his name was David, said no. So like it's good to discuss back and forth and like have conversations, because not a lot of people have conversations anymore. It's very one-sided, and that's how we get in these issues of not being able to talk to people, not being able to see other people's opinions and stuff. So I wouldn't mind doing a live stream with him. He's been in here a couple times commenting in the live streams, and he comments on my videos sometimes and stuff. So I wouldn't mind it. He has good content for the content that he does. His editing is actually pretty good in his videos that he does too. Charles says, loving my new ORP 4Runner, 1 month, and it has 1,000 miles on it. Heck yeah, man. That's pretty good. That's a lot of miles in a month. We just hit 3,500 miles on our 6th gen, and no issues. Actually, I lied. The only issues I'm having is with the technology. For some reason, sometimes it does not want to connect with my phone on CarPlay. This is the only Toyota product that I've had with the new infotainment screen that the CarPlay doesn't want to work all the time. So it is a little frustrating, and I will talk to you guys about that well, I already technically did a month update video, but maybe I'll talk about issues that I'm having so far with the 4Runner. I could do that video. Don't you love when you see terrorists on TV and they're always driving Toyotas? Hey, bro, that's because they got to get there, right? They got to make sure that they get there to do whatever they're gonna freaking do. That's why I love those memes where it's like a new war overseas or something like that. And it's like Toyota stocks over there, or Toyota sales in the Middle East go up because of terrorists, those freaking people. Jay says, after seeing how amazing your matte PPF was on the 4Runner, you made me want to matte PPF my 4Runner, but the price tag is pretty steep. The price tag is up there for sure. That's why I stated in that video, like, I'll say this. The cool thing about doing matte film is that you actually get a difference in your vehicle. Because if I was to because I went in there to XPEL because we were supposed to do a 10 millimeter thick film on that 4Runner because I plan on off-roading it. But really 10 millimeter is more for like track use, like cars and stuff that are getting a lot of low debris on tracks. But we ended up going with an 8 millimeter, which is still super thick film. And the cool thing is that even with that price tag, it changed the vehicle. So if I was to do the gloss and then you pay that price, it's for something that you have to know is there, but there's really no change for it. And that price was also high on the higher end. One, because of the location of Dallas. Like if you were to do it somewhere else, it may be lower or it may be higher. And also, I had about $1,000 worth of window tint on it, and also the ceramic coating that goes on it as well, which is probably like $500 to $600 plus. So, I mean, you could bring that price down to like $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 maybe, but it's still a massive investment for sure. And like, if you don't plan on keeping the vehicle for that long, again, it may not be worth it, but if you have that disposable money and you want to change the look of your vehicle, I mean, it looks badass, dude. It looks so freaking cool. Peter Gamer says, remind me once I was into a Toyota dealership to get an oil change. I checked out a Land Cruiser at the dealership. When I closed the door, it didn't even latch and it made a loud rattle. I've never had that issue with my Land Cruiser. It sounds a little tinny when you close the door on the outside especially, but I haven't heard of it not latching. I wonder if Tacomas will be unaffected by the tariffs since they're American-made. So the Tacomas are actually not American-made. They are made in Mexico. So that was about to get tariffs a month ago from all stuff coming up from Mexico. And then Mexico and the United States worked out something with a deal, so the Tacoma was not hit with a tariff. So we will see how the Tacoma is affected as well with all this stuff, since it's not made in America. The Tundra is made in America, but the Tacoma is made in Mexico. There's 2 plants actually down there. 25 4Runner, TRD Pro, or GX 550 Overtrail? Very, very good question. I would go with the Overtrail. With the V6, it's just so much nicer inside. The TRD Pro is pretty nice on the inside, and the 4Runner just looks so freaking aggressive. Looks-wise, 4Runner. Powertrain and interior quality-wise, GX. So I know that didn't really answer your question. But yeah, it's dude, the new TRD Pro 4Runner is so cool. But I have a soft spot for the GX 550. It is just so freaking nice. If they weren't so hard to get right now, I would try to get one. I could try to work with Lexus if I have like some contacts with Toyota that could get me with Lexus, but it's still like months out to get a GX 550 Overtrail. So I am trying to get one, but not like overly actively looking for one. Do you think that dual climate control will be offered on more trims in the future? I definitely think that will be added as like a mid lifespan kind of update for the 4Runner for people, because I think that it should have it regardless on the premium trims, because once you get into limited and up, it has it. But I think that the TRD Off-Road Premium and TRD Sport Premium trims, they should definitely have those. Are you going to get premium headlights and taillights for the 4Runner? I want to do it to mine and would love a tutorial on how you did it if you did. So the headlights for me like aren't that bad. I wouldn't mind the premium headlights, but I don't know. I do like them on the Platinum. They look really good. But the taillights are probably my favorite that Toyota came out with the 4Runner. I'm very interested to see what like Alpharex, Morimoto, all those aftermarket light companies do with the rear end of the 4Runner. They already, Alpharex actually just showcased headlights for the 4Runner on their page, which they look pretty sick. I'm pretty sure they're the same ones as the Tacoma, but they looked really good. They kind of like contoured the whole sideline of the 4Runner, like going back to the fender. But I'll definitely add some lights in the future. I have a 2014 limited 4Runner with 300K miles on it. Should I keep it? Bro, if it's riding good and it's paid off, keep it, man. There's nothing better than a paid off vehicle. That's why I'm keeping my 5th gen 4Runner. 1, it's paid off. 2, it don't have 300,000 miles on it, but you know, it only has 40,000 miles and it'll ride forever. Nevada is close to Arizona, and Utah has no state income tax. That is very true, but I just don't know if I would want to do Nevada, because if I did, it would have to be Vegas or maybe the outskirts of Vegas, and Nevada to me is somehow a bit more expensive still than Arizona is. So, and I just like Arizona a little bit better. So my brother, he actually lives in North Las Vegas, which it's nice up there, but it's just very congested and it just doesn't have the same desert vibe. I'm not talking crap on it, because if you live in Nevada, Cody, don't think that I'm talking crap on Nevada. I lived in Arizona for a while and I just really enjoy the Phoenix area, Maricopa County. I really like that area just a little bit more than what Nevada for me in the city that I would live in of Nevada would have to offer, if that makes sense. So if we do the double life in Arizona and also Florida, and I still make content in Florida, I'm pretty sure that I would still be good with the state income tax, especially if the majority of my life was here in Florida versus Arizona. So I think I could still escape on that. It's just the whole VA loan. So if you guys don't know what a VA loan is, basically if you were in the military and you were in the military long enough and you separated, you still have access to the VA loan, which means that you could purchase property with no down payment, essentially. And then if you have disability as well, like I do, from getting out of the military, you don't have a funding fee on top of that, which means, yes, let's say you buy a $350,000 house, the loan may be for like 320 or 378 because they put the funding fee on the back end of the loan. So for me, I don't have a funding fee. So what I have with my entitlement left on the VA, that's what I was hoping to do in Arizona. If we bought like an even more expensive house in Arizona, you would just have to kind of do a percentage of down payments for it versus, purchasing the house and doing 10, 15, 20% down, depending on the type of home that you buy or the type of loan that you go through. So I don't know. We're going to be working on it. We'll see what happens. I'm really starting to do a lot of business out on the West Coast, and more opportunities have been coming up to where it will end up costing me money if we don't buy something out there, because with hotels, Airbnbs, I have friends to stay with if I really wanted to, but if I'm there for a month or for several weeks on end, I don't want to impose myself and my vehicles on friends, even though I'm sure that they would be welcome to have me. I don't want to do that. So if I stayed in an Airbnb for like several weeks, or if I stayed in a hotel for several weeks or whatever, it would be more than a mortgage payment is anyways. And I thought about renting, but since I'm in real estate, like, it just kills me to pay rent to someone if I know that for a couple extra $100 more, because rent is cheaper right now in the Phoenix area, at least for like the properties that I'm looking at. Rent is cheaper, mortgage is higher, but I know that eventually they'll start to like kind of go like this, especially when you pay down the house more too. So yeah, that's why. And we were talking about Tampa for a while, but I've just gotten so much more business out in the West Coast, and I feel like you guys would maybe enjoy more off-road and camping content and all that stuff out there too. So that is just, trying to open that door. I just saw this from Shay. So yeah, so Tampa was going to be because there's a lot of Toyota vehicles down in the Miami fleet, so I could do a lot more reviews for you guys. But Arizona opens up the door more for me to grow with you guys for car content, off-road content, camping content, working with businesses out there. And there still is a pretty decent fleet in LA and also the Phoenix area to still review cars for you guys. And also there's a lot of dealerships too in that area to where I could still go and review cars for you all. Julio says, hey John, what's the next press vehicle you're getting your hands on? So I have a video going out tomorrow, guys, on the 25 Tundra. It really shocked me. So I'll just leave it at that for some anticipation for the video. But I am going to get with my press loan guy for a Trail Hunter. He said that there is a Trail Hunter and also a Capstone Tundra available. So I'm going to try to get a Trail Hunter Tacoma and then a Capstone Tundra. And hopefully there's some more stuff in the pipeline for me for that. We just don't have that much, unfortunately, in the Atlanta fleet. Thoughts on wrapping the front and rear lower valence matte black instead of replacing it? No off-roading. I think that would look good if you did a matte black on it. For the older 4Runners too, I think you can pop those off and paint them as well, or maybe even plasti dip them too, just to see if you like it. But the thing with plasti dip is you have to use multiple layers to get a good film. So yeah, we will see. 3.4 liter 4Runner has to be the most gas guzzling SUV ever. I get 10 miles per gallon combined, bro. That is a lot. Or that is not a lot. That is crazy. I feel like I got more than that with my 3 liter 4Runner, and that was like a dog too. Holy crap. Yeah, Tyler, I mean, people don't like him for a certain reason too. So all that information will come out. 34 convictions, but I don't think he's been guilty of any of them. So we'll see. I'm just curious because he didn't have any of these lawsuits or these convictions and all that stuff before he ran for president. And then he ran and all this stuff came up. So got to have an open mind about that stuff, honestly. Like, why would they try to do that? Why don't they want that particular guy in power, right? And that's why I like having these conversations with people, just to get their side and see, you know, like, why do you think that? Well, why would they do that? Like, let's be conversational about it, you know? Guitar Solid says, how capable do you think the 4Runner Limited will be? Will lifting the vehicle be any different because the adaptive suspension? I love to off-road, however, no dual climate control or soft touch. Yeah, but that's the biggest downfall, I feel, of the TRD off-road is just all the plastic, especially in the premium trim. But the Toyota's A-Track system is pretty good for off-road. Just depends on how much off-road you're doing. But really, like, of all the off-road I've done, even in Moab, I never really used crawl control unless I wanted to try it out. I did use the rear locker like once because it was a pretty gnarly obstacle. But I mean, Toyota's low range 4-wheel drive system is honestly pretty good. So I think that you would be fine with the limited. Westcott, I'm sure, will do something with that if you're just wanting to like lift it up a little bit and still have the adaptive suspension work. They've done it with Tundras and stuff. So I think if you just do kind of like a leveling kit on it, you should have no issues. I had the same exact CarPlay issue. Yeah, I don't know what it's going on with the CarPlay, Abe. And guys, we're about 15 minutes behind on comments, so I apologize, but I'll get to you guys. I just like answering everyone's questions. It's just like once I go in and out, or like if my wife's phone connects or something, and I try to connect my phone, or if I walk away from the vehicle, it just doesn't want to like re-register sometimes. Sometimes it's great. Other times it just doesn't. And we had that issue several times while on our road trip. David says, I watched the new rap video last night. Loved how it came out. I've owned a 2019 SR5 for just over a month. And for a 4-cylinder, it gets into Miami traffic just fine. That's hilarious, dude. Oh my gosh, Miami traffic. Jesus. Julio says, I have the same issues with my Android Auto losing connection. Yeah, and I've heard that Android Auto is a little bit more finicky than the CarPlay as well. I'm not sure if the manufacturers just do a little bit more R&D into Apple CarPlay just because it's the majority of users, but there are a good amount of Android users too. And I do know that Android Auto had an update as well. So hopefully that starts to work better for you in your Corolla. How is it getting used to the 6th gen, and how come I have not seen any in Houston to this day? That's crazy. Actually, now that you say that, like even in Dallas, driving through there, I didn't see another 4Runner. There's not that many sold. There's probably only a handful, you know, or not a handful, but probably only several thousand that have really been sold so far. So I am just now, like a year later, even though there's been like I think 100,000+ or 200,000 Tacoma sold. I'm just now, every time when I go on the road here in my local area, I see a Tacoma just about every single time I go out onto the road. So I think that it'll take a while before the masses are out there. New 4Runner's looking good. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Blue Waffle, what's up, man? How's it going? Welcome to the live stream. Peter says, if I were to get a new Toyota, what should I get? No 4 cylinders. I prioritize reliability. I don't know then, because everything is going towards turbocharging and smaller displacement. So you could do a new Tundra if you need a truck. The 25s seem super solid so far. A Highlander or RAV4. Well, no, those have 4 cylinders. So really, the only option you have is a Tundra or Sequoia if you don't want a 4 cylinder, or a GR Corolla because it has a 3 cylinder. The styling of the new 4Runner, heck yeah. So honestly, like now that it's a matte film on the 4Runner, it actually makes the front end look a little bit better in my opinion. Because I wasn't a fan of the double mustache stuff. What was your first car? I had a 1995 Toyota 4Runner. It was an SR5 4-wheel drive. It had manual locking hubs. It also was kind of like a not a limited SR5 because it had cloth seats, but it also had a moonroof too. And one of my favorite features was when the back window rolled down, you could actually open the tailgate and sit on it. So that was my first vehicle, was a 95 4Runner. It was the last year of the 2nd gen. Also, the new Toyota interior looks great and all, but I don't like the fact that if something breaks, like the climate control button stopped working because the wires are messed up, you can't fix it. Too much digital. Yeah. I mean, at least Toyota versus Lexus has a lot of that stuff still as physical buttons, and there's just like a single module for it. So to me, it's no different than any like of the 5th gen 4Runners or the 4th gen 4Runners. Like, it's still all going to a module at least. Really, the only tech is the gauge cluster and the screen. But like even older Toyotas all had screens from like 2014 up. This one's just technically bigger. So, but there is a lot more tech, like with the safety features and all that stuff as well. Akwasi says, take off your roof rack. Oh, from West Africa. So freaking cool. The reach that YouTube has. That is amazing. Yeah, so I took the roof rack off for the XPEL guys, and it did look pretty clean without it. But now that the roof rack is back on, it just kind of flows with the vibe of the truck, though. You got the black roof rack, the black window tint, the black trim on the fenders. I blacked out the badging up front, so it flows for sure, but it did look pretty good naked. I just bought a 25 ORP. Can't wait to replace the rims and tires and then a lift. That's going to look awesome. It's going to look really awesome. Cody says Phoenix is awesome. Yeah, I mean, dude, I enjoy it. I lived there for maybe 3 years. I've visited multiple times since, and I just really want mine and my wife's life and our dog's life like 2.0 in Phoenix. Because when I was there the first time, I was younger, like 21, 22, 23. And, you know, I was just younger and stupid. I would like to go back there now with the mindset that I have almost 10 years later and just see how everything is and what opportunities we have. TRD ORP needs more soft touch and aux button standard. So I believe that the hybrids actually have the aux buttons. Not sure why in the non-hybrids they don't have the aux buttons. Doesn't make sense. And yes, it does definitely need more soft touch. Thank you, Trusted Melon. I appreciate it. New Era, appreciate you too. What 2-inch lift for 24 ORP would you recommend? You could do a Bilstein kit. If you go to Yota Mafia, I have a discount code with them to save you guys 5%. It's in the link tree that I have pinned at the top of this comment section, but they have what's called a Bilstein RTR kit. Comes fully assembled, very inexpensive kit to lift that 4Runner up about 2 inches. It'll drive so much better. No nose diving when you brake. Very, very good, inexpensive kit. Eibach too. I've heard good things about Eibach. But yeah, the Bilstein RTR kit that Yota Mafia sells is pretty good. Sheila says, love your Yota collection. It's been good so far, for sure. I think I have too many, and the way that you guys are enjoying the 4Runner content, just like how when I got the TRD off-road Tacoma, I enjoy having all these vehicles for if something happens on the Land Cruiser, I can talk about it. For something that happens on the Tacoma, I can talk about it. Like, it's cool having these vehicles, but I think it would be more effective content-wise and more consistent content on vehicles if I just had like one project vehicle. I don't know, but the collection is nice. It is expensive. It's QPEG Baby says, I want a 4Runner, but should I wait a couple years for them to work out the kinks? I'm driving a 19 Corolla. So far, knock on wood, there's no kinks. So, I mean, obviously waiting a couple years, you'll get the best version of the vehicle up until that point, right? But I don't know. Like, so far, I mean, maybe just because there's not that many out there, there's really no kinks with the 4Runners yet. And hopefully it stays that way. Hey, Jarrett, how's it going, man? The realtor from Canada, the Matt PPF turned out fire, bro. I appreciate it, Jarrett. That's awesome that you watched the video. Thank you so much. And hope real estate is going amazing for you up in Canada. Aaron says, CarPlay on the Toyota infotainment system is buggy. Always had an issue driving through Destin, one spot which has a black hole for CarPlay connection. It is right there after McGuire's because that's where it just dies out on me after McGuire's for like 2 or 3 streets for some reason. It just like always goes out on mine. It like disconnects and then comes back on. It hasn't lately for me, But on my Tundras that I had, it did. Yeah, even in SoCal, where all the cars are hitting first, only seen 2 TRD Sports so far. Gabe says, thanks for the content. Besides factory alarm, have you ever installed any others? I actually have not, nor a kill switch. I live in a relatively safe area. Again, knock on wood, but there's not that much car theft in our area. And if it gets stolen, I guess it was time for me to not have the car anymore, which would suck. And I would hate to go through all that stuff with insurance. But we live in a relatively nice area. And now with the new Toyota system too, if the cars ever got stolen or broken into, the notification goes off on your phone about the vehicle. So, you could meet someone with your wireless hole puncher or whatever and figure out what's going on. And yeah, but I haven't installed anything. Near Big Bear, there are a bunch of 4th gen tacos and GX 550s. That's the spot for it right there, man, up in Big Bear, where it's a little bit snowy and stuff and amazing terrain all around. That's like the perfect spot for those cars. Holy crap. I still have yet to see a 6th gen 4Runner or any Trail Hunter or TRD Pro. Yeah, TRD Pros and Trail Hunters, they definitely have not sold that many on the Tacomas yet. And still with the 4Runners. I mean, I'd be surprised if there's maybe 10,000 that have been sold. We'll see. When are you getting your first G-Class? Is that a Mercedes? What's the G-Class? Let me know. Like a G-Wagon? Never. If you're talking about a G-Wagon, probably never. That thing is, I don't know. One, I don't really think that I would want one. If I'm going to spend that much money, I would rather have like a Lamborghini Urus or something like that. The G-Wagon is cool though. Thank you for your previous answer regarding the limited. Based on that, if I install coilovers, the adaptive suspension won't work. I'm not 100% sure how the adaptive suspension system works. I'm not sure if it's sway bars or if it is the actual shock strut itself. I'm not 100% sure, but if it is the shock strut itself, if you just take that out and put other suspension in, you should be fine. So I know that the older 4Runners that they had X-Reyes suspension, or like KDSS basically, and people were able to like cancel that system, just put different suspension on the vehicles. So you may be able to just take that suspension out and put it on if it is the actual suspension itself, because that's what people have been doing with GXs as well, is just taking the suspension out and putting different stuff in. The double mustache is a throwback to the 99 to 2001 4Runner, yes. And even a little bit too to the Toyota pickup, because the Toyota pickup had kind of that double mustache as well. Definitely not as prominent as the 6th gen is, but it definitely had it too. When do we find out the 26 TRD Pro color? Hopefully May, June timeframe, because that's usually when we start to know about 2026 stuff, because that's a couple months out from when they actually come out. So hopefully May, June timeframe, maybe even into July. But I will definitely bring you guys a video on what the color is. I'm hoping for a green, like a green or a blue. I would really want a blue. Or a, as much as I don't want another gray, it would be cool to have like a cement color again, or like a Nardo gray, even though underground is kind of gray and that's on the TRD Pros, but it would be cool to kind of have like a lighter gray. Victor says, what's up, John? I just purchased my 6th gen SR5. What's the biggest tires you think you could fit with no lift? If you're going to keep the stock wheels, then about a 33, maybe a 34 would be pushing it, but a 33 for sure. You should be good with it. But if you're going to swap out the wheels, I'm not going to recommend, because offset changes things. Yeah, so currently on my 4Runner, I have plus 25 with 285 70 17s. That's almost a 33, and I have no rubbing. And I believe the TRD off-road is lifted up maybe an inch more than the SR5 is. Dennis, what is up, man? How's it going? Taking your son and daughter-in-law to a nice dinner on Saturday, because they they took care of our cat for us, and I owe them a very nice dinner. So yeah, it's hopefully we get some good food and stuff, some Wagyu, a couple other things. But thank you always for the support over on Facebook, Dennis. Tundra the Cattle Dog says, would love to see some content on the Tacoma Trail Hunter. Well, Tundra Cattle Dog, you are in luck, because hopefully I can have one as a press vehicle in maybe a couple of weeks. Would you recommend a 6th gen SR5? I dig the look and the darker wheels and no side steps. To be honest, I like the SR5's appearance on the outside. For me, the inside is just like a little too cheap. I would personally just spend the extra couple thousand and just get like a Tier D off-road if you're gonna get kind of the more basic interior. But if you could get an SR5 for around 40 grand, then yeah, because now your difference is a lot bigger. But I've been seeing SR5s in the mid 40s, so they're knocking on the doors of the Tier D off-roads basically. Amart says, of the old school trucks, which do you prefer, 5th gen 4Runner or 2nd gen Tundra? Of mine, I prefer my 4Runner right now to the 5th gen or to the 2nd gen Tundra, but we are going to supercharge the Tundra. So once it's making more power, I feel like I may enjoy that truck a little bit more once it's recalibrated and stuff, bigger brakes on it too. And then that Tundra will be going under the knife. So we are going to take it out to the West Coast. I really hope to run Baja with that truck in Mexico next year. So that is the goal, the new goal for the 2nd gen Tundra. It was going to get the frick out of here, mosquito. Holy crap, it's that time of year now again in Florida. I was trying to have that truck be like a family hauler for us, go on road trips with it, but it's just not like that comfortable to do that stuff. And it's missing certain tech that I wish I had in that truck to do those things. So I think it's going to be a luxury pre-runner is that truck's future. What's the link for the DRL LED conversion? If you tap on the link tree, which is pinned at the top of this comment section, and you look for Last Fit, that is the website that you want to go to. And I should have a discount code too with Last Fit on there. Jarrett says, John, thoughts on the height loss due to the hybrid battery in the back of the 4Runner? Buying a Platinum 4Runner, such a nice looking vehicle. And my Doodle's fave spot is the trunk. Enough headroom, do you think? About the same size as a Golden. That's going to be close because you do lose some. And the roof line is a little shorter as well. It'll be close, depending on how tall your dog is. But like our Husky, he sits in the back of our 5th gen or 6th gen 4Runner perfectly fine. You are gaining an extra 4 inches of height though with the battery. It'll be close. It'll be close. If you have a very cool dealership, before you purchase it, see if you could throw your dog in the back of it maybe, because hey, the dog could be a deal breaker, right? Because we all know that pups love to ride in the back of the 4Runners. Patrick says, I live in the Dallas area. I've only seen one 6th gen 4Runner. My local dealership has had a couple, but they sold almost immediately. Wasn't able to check them out, sadly. Yeah, they're going fast. Eventually, there will be a surplus of them, and then people will be able to get discounts on them, hopefully. Depends, again, with tariff stuff, what actually comes of that. But yeah, hopefully, you know, they sell hundreds of thousands of them, and there's plenty on the lots for people to pick and choose. You're welcome, Victor. Jarrett also says, John, how much lift would look good on a Platinum 4Runner in your opinion? Going completely black on the new 4, dude, that's gonna look so sick. That like a Platinum is honestly a build that I would love to do for a very OEM plus 4Runner, like one that just doesn't touch the dirt and it just looks really good. I think that a nice like 1 inch, honestly, you don't even need to lift the back. So Westcott Designs is coming out with multiple lift kit options for the front end of these 4Runners. And to be completely honest, if you just put like 33s to 34s on it with just like a 1 to 1.5 inch lift on the front, money. Like I wouldn't even lift the back just because the back of the 4Runner is so raked up anyways. I would just put a smidge of a pre-collar kit on the front from Westcott Designs and then just a little bit bigger of tires. And I think that that would look absolutely awesome. Roman says, hey, John, I prefer the more stock vibe. What minor mods would you recommend for a GX 550 Premium Plus other than wheels? I already got the XPEL PPF on the full front. Nice. Definitely, other than wheels, just a little bit more aggressive of tires if you want it to be more off-roady. Window tint, and honestly, that's about it. Like, I don't really think that you should do much more to a GX. The GX already looks pretty good. Maybe black out some certain things if there's chromey accents to it. It depends on the color of the GX as well, and I can't remember if the GX has black badging or if it has chrome badging, or even debadge it too. But I just think window tint and wheels and tires, they just go a long way for an OEM plus build. But if you are going to off-road it a little bit, maybe like a little low pro bumper, maybe some nice rock sliders too, to just kind of give it a good vibe. That's what I think. That's what I think I would do. Any Sequoia videos? Looking to get one. I have plenty in the past fishing life. I actually owned a Sequoia TRD Pro, so I believe I have a playlist on the Sequoia, or you can just type in TRD John Sequoia on YouTube, and I have plenty of Sequoia videos, plenty of review videos comparing it to this Land Cruiser when I had a Platinum TRD Off-Road. I believe another video too of that Platinum TRD Off-Road. I have videos of SR5, the TRD Sports Sequoia, TRD or SR5 Sequoias, I should say, limited Sequoias, Platinum, TRD Pro. I have all those on my channel. 1794. I just did a review video too on the 1794 at the DC Auto Show. So I have quite a few Sequoia videos on my channel. Sloppy Slaps says, from what, I'm just going to butcher his name. A G-Class is a G-Wagon, a capable off-roader, front, center, lock. Yeah, so, okay. Holds better value than a Urus, but in that realm of vehicles, nothing beats a Cayenne Turbo GT. Yeah, the Cayennes are really freaking nice too. They're actually, you're right. The Cayennes are very cool. The Ferraris, I don't like the Ferrari SUVs. The Urus, I just like the looks of them. I didn't know that they don't hold their values that well. G-Wagons really hold their values. I mean, a lot of those vehicles hold their values because of who buys them as well, since they're tax write-offs essentially. The Escalade V is actually pretty cool, but I don't need like that big of an SUV. But yeah, I do like the Urus. But yeah, the Porsche Cayenne, that's a nice vehicle. Jarrett says, haha, I'll see if my salesman will let me put Finn in the back. Oh, good name, good name. Our friend's dog's name is Finn too. Yeah, if they're cool about it. And it's a doodle, right? It shouldn't shed any fur, at least not like our Husky does. So that would be good if they're able to do it. Screen Protect is in here, man. Just got home Monday, well, Tuesday morning at like 1 a.m. and found your guys' package in my office because we had our friends checking in on our kitty cat. So that is on the docket to get installed hopefully this week. Thank you guys so much for the support too, Screen Protect. You guys are awesome. Jared's going to allow Finn to go in the back. Peter says, John, don't park your cars outside on the street. Once I parked my Camry on the street, next time I saw it, there was a massive rip spanning the entire length of the car. Found out a snowplow hit and ran. That freaking crappy thing. Well, good thing is in my neighborhood, we don't allow overnight parking on the street, so hopefully none of the vehicles will get hit. And even when I park it other places, I try not to park on the street, try to park in a parking lot. And luckily in Florida, even though we just got snow, we don't usually get snow. So hopefully there's no crazy snow plows. There are a lot of construction vehicles, though. A lot of construction vehicles. Just got a 24 off-road premium last Saturday. Heck yeah, Greg. Enjoy it, man. It's gonna last forever. Jared says, thanks, John. We'll check out Westcott Designs for sure. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm not sure all on their website of what they have at the moment. But I do know when I talked to Jeff on the phone that he's going to have multiple options for lift on that new 4Runner. Does the Limited and Platinum have full-time all-wheel drive, have A-Track when they're in full low? I believe they do. you may have to check on Toyota's website to get the exact answer on that, but I believe their full-time four-wheel drive does also have A-Track in 4-low, I believe. Roman says, John, to elaborate on my GX, it's incognito with factory black badging, also tinted the fronts, and also gloss black vinyl on the fenders. Dang, so you've already done quite a bit. Matched the gloss black accents of the wiper console. Okay, yeah, so, man, there's really not much more to do aside from maybe some tires on it. And definitely, potentially some rock sliders, 0 degree would look good on it too. But if it's a very street build, I mean, maybe even doing some automatic steps would be cool on it as well. Thoughts, and incognito is such a good color too. All right, last few questions. If you guys had any questions just burning in your mind, go ahead and throw them up in here. We've been on for about an hour and a half, and I think I'm going to wrap up because I still got some stuff to do, and I broke my fast as well at 56 hours. I did not have any food. I only had water and some coffee, and I had some steak today. Was freaking good. I had a protein smoothie with a little bit of honey and strawberries in it. It was good, and hopefully the ground beef is thawed out so I can make either some burger patties or some ground beef and cheese. Thoughts on the 4 cylinders long term? I have faith. Andrew. Toyota has never intentionally made a engine that goes boom, except for the Tundra, but that was not intentional. It was a machining issue per them. So I hope that it's going to be really good. Thanks, Greg, man. I appreciate it, dude. Trying. I did eat a little bit bad in Texas, and I had some beer, which I don't have beer in a while. Dude, I had 2 IPAs and pizza for the first time probably in years, and I felt it afterwards. So when I got home, I told my wife, I was like, dude, I'm gonna fast. Like, I'll see how long I can go. It was originally 24 hours, and then I said 36 hours, and then I did 48, and I fell asleep, so I got another 8 or 9 out of it, so I did 56 hours, but I appreciate it. But yeah, I hope that the 4 cylinders go long term. Toyota has one of the most reliable 4 cylinders ever made with that with the 22RE, so hopefully this is the modern version of it. Fishing Life says, do you recommend any Toyota dealerships in Florida? We just moved about a year ago. Depends on where in Florida you're at. Florida, even though it's a smaller state, it's a pretty big state. I used to recommend Toyota of Panama City. They were always a no over MSRP dealer. I don't know about anywhere else in Florida. I've never experienced any other dealerships in Florida. Mike says, 5th gen owner here for the past 6 years. I test drove the 6th gen last weekend, and despite feeling a bit more comfortable, it reminded me of a Highlander with the 4-cylinder. It's noisy. It depends also on the trim of the 4Runner that it was, because non-premium trims don't have the isolation on the hood, and they could probably be a little bit louder. I feel like my 4Runner TRD Off-Road Premium isn't as noisy as the Tacoma I had was, but yeah, they definitely make a little bit more noise for sure with that 4-cylinder. Even on the outside, it sounds like a little diesel. It honestly sounds like a little diesel for some reason. The Highlanders have a problem with the suspension system. Be aware that to others, we're taking the SR5 suspension and putting them on the Limited. I'm not sure what Terry's talking about, why the Highlander is part of that. Roman says, I read on GX forums that Canadian dealers won't sell any new GXs. They are willing to lease them, but not that. That's crazy. I don't know what Canada is doing with their cars sometimes. They have a whole bunch of rules and regulations up there. Chris, yo, what up, man? Appreciate it. Hope all is well out there. Appreciate the love for the PPF too. I'll be out. I think this is AZ Chris, right? Based on the photo there. I'm pretty sure that's AZ Chris. I'll be out in the Phoenix area in May with it, man. Are you sponsored by Toyota? I am not. I have never gotten a paycheck from them. I do work with them though for like content as an automotive journalist, but I am not sponsored by them. It would be nice to get a fat paycheck one day. That's for sure. Brandon says, what was the tonneau cover you mentioned in your last live stream for the Tundra? I believe it was Paragon. That is the one that I used in the past for my third gen Tundra, and they just came out with a new version, which actually looks really, really cool. Yeah, 56 hours, dude. It was a while. Thanks, Cody, for the love, man. I appreciate it. All right, last few questions, guys. Yep, it is easy. All right, cool, dude. I'll see you in May. Awesome. Greg says, I've been on animal-based, almost exactly what you're doing for about a month now. 72-hour fast once a month and 2 48-hour fasts a month. So that's incredible, by the way. I was trying to do every Sunday. I would do a 24-hour fast and just like start the week fresh. And then I was carnivore for like 7 months and I felt great on it. But I always had just like a little bit of fatigue every once in a while. But then I kicked coffee for about a month and then I felt really good. But honey is just so good and such like a power food. And then good organic fruits are good as well. So I am animal based as well as like my main diet. If I cheat a little bit, I always go back to the same thing. So and fasting is a good way to get all that crap stuff out of you too. So I'm just trying to make sure I don't overdo it on the carbs and also the fats. So I'm doing very low carb, but still allowing like honey, strawberries, blueberries, all that stuff, pickles, tomatoes, all that, and avocados as well. Bananas sometimes and orange juice sometimes as well. But I'm trying to keep carbs like under 100 for the day and then just have the rest be protein and fats and just trying to find a good organic balance. The Tundra issue wouldn't have happened if they were assembled in Japan. Well, I believe the LX engines are assembled in Japan and the GXs, and they still had the issues, which makes me scratch my head. Is like, where was everything manufactured, or did those parts of the engine go over there already like contaminated and stuff too? Because per the forums and the stuff on Facebook, it seems like the GX engines and the LX engines are assembled in Japan, and they still had the issues. So I don't know. We'll see. Those automatic running boards are stupid expensive. We'll have to wait until there are more on the road. For sure. Yeah. No, they're not cheap. Just so you know, strawberries aren't good for guys. They are good for women, but not guys. It applies too much sugar to the limpin. I'll have to look into that. I didn't hear that. I'd always try to get organic stuff too, not with the pesticides and any of that other crap on it. Peter Gamer, I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. Thank you guys so much. Last few questions, and I know I've said that a million times, but we'll wrap up soon. But I appreciate you guys with all the support and stuff. Yeah, Terry meant to say the limit. Oh, gotcha, and not the hybrid. Gotcha. Andrew says, only asking because as a sales guy for them, it's hard to get a good deal on a new Toyota. Yeah, I'm not sponsored by them in any sense, but I do have contacts now at Toyota corporate to try to get vehicles fast, but I'm not always promised anything. Like I was trying to get a 4Runner on the West Coast, but they were all already allocated, and TRD John didn't get a special treatment, which that's totally fine. It's whatever. I don't like get upset about that, but I'm kind of like, man, I do a lot of like Toyota content. Like it'd be beneficial to get a vehicle very fast, but we still made it happen. And I was still super stoked to go through the dealership in Texas, and the contact from the Gulf States Toyota region that I was put in contact with was absolutely amazing. So I'll go anywhere for a vehicle. I'll go anywhere just for the content. And I like meeting new people at new dealerships and then road tripping back with the vehicle too. It's a lot of fun. I just ended up buying a GX 460 with the V8. What a sweet, smooth, quiet ride. It is very smooth. The V8 GX is so smooth. All that has sugar, you store fat. Yeah, it depends on how your body is using stuff. So if you are low sugar and low carbs, which essentially that's like what the sugar is it makes carbs. But if you're very low on that and your body uses all that fuel like all the time, if you're working out and doing stuff, it's going to start to use fat as energy. So that's like why the keto diet is so good too, is because it is using your fat as energy, and you stay super lean, which is very, very good. The sugars and stuff though help for some cognitive function as well, but overdoing sugar and overdoing fat is both no bueno. Like you can't have both. That's why so many Americans are fat, because they just don't know. Prioritize protein and the rest will follow, such as carbs and fat. Great live stream. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, blueberries are very good for you, but not so much. All right, I'm gonna look into the strawberries for dudes, because I don't do strawberries that often. It's only like 5 strawberries in the protein shake, and the protein that I use is pretty good too. It's like no additives, no oils, no bull crap with it. Organic cocoa and flavorings, like legit organic ones, not natural flavors. They're legit organic flavorings. It's a little expensive, but it's great protein. It does not bloat me at all. It's no like whey bull crap. It's actually pretty good. 5th gen or 6th gen 4Runner if you had to choose. 5th gen all day. Alan, I just did a comparison video of the 5th gen and the 6th gen. Driving wise, I picked 6th gen, but I honestly pick 5th gen in every other regard. It's so much more solid. The materials are better. I just feel right at home in it. The 5th gen it's going to be a classic for sure. And last little bit from Andrew says, and Brandon just came up in here, says that that's awesome, man. We just got done with some 4Runner training in Las Vegas for the Denver region. Denver region's a big region too, man, especially for the 4Runner. That's rad. Glad you guys got some hands-on time with it. And then Brandon says, thanks. I'll look into Paragon covers, buying a new Tundra in May. Finally getting out of my Silverado. Your channel has helped convince me. If you go to my TRD John Tundra Paragon bed cover or something like that, however, YouTube will get you to that. I may have a discount code still with them. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, I enjoyed the Paragon bed cover. It's made in America. It was super solid. And their new one looks very, very trick. So they are on the pricey end, but they are pretty high quality. Andrea, you guys take care too. Peter Gamer, I will be posting tomorrow. It is going to be the Tundra review that I have of a 25 Tundra, which has kind of convinced me to potentially buy another Tundra for you guys just for content. I don't know. We'll see. But that will be there. If so, I will see you guys in the comments as well. Thank you guys so much for coming out to this random live stream on Thursday. I appreciate you guys so much, and I will catch you guys in the next one. All right, see you guys later.